Thank you so much for joining today. And as you probably read before, this is not going to be a presentation. This is not going to be slides. It's just going to be a questions and answers section, specifically focused on the non-lucrative visa for Spain. We have, of course, the honor to count with Ainhoa Manero, who is the director of Sterna Abogados, and she's an expert immigration lawyer with deep expertise in this visa. Of course, not only for the non-lucrative visa, but also other kinds of visas, digital nomad visa, highly qualified worker, residencies, any kind of residencies, citizenship. You can go to Stern Abogados. Their expertise is all across Spanish immigration. But today we're going to talk about the non-lucrative visa. So I am recording this. I will send you the recording to your emails. I'm going to upload this to Spainguru's YouTube channel. And you can ask your questions anytime, of course, in the chat box in the bottom right corner of your screen. Just make sure to add a question mark at the end of the question or somewhere in the question, because then I just click on it and I can publish it on the screen so everyone can read the question and we can answer it. And please, please, if you can, provide context for your question so it's easy for Ainhoa and me to understand your question and give you better answers. Okay? Well, without further ado, you can start asking your questions. And let me, oh, I forgot to add the Q&A chat mode. Now it's operating. Okay, so we have the first question. Unfortunately, sorry for that. Forgot to put the Q&A session now. But the first question here, I will just read it out loud. Does the 1-year timeline of the non-lucrative visa begin when the visa is approved, or once the visa holder arrives in Spain, even if the arrival is a few months after receiving the visa?
Well, you have to take into account this. So, because I don't know what you mean by the timeline. So, you have to check your visa, okay? And it will say some dates from the beginning, because sometimes it's not the day that they give you the visa, the day that you can travel, okay? You have to check the starting date, okay? And now they are giving visas for 1 year, okay? Which means that you have 1 year to enter into Spain, okay? But then when you enter to Spain is when really they start counting the 1 year that you are going to live in Spain and to renew after the 1 year, okay? By the way, I want to, I don't know, Bruno, did they send you from my office the last resolution of a non-lucrative appeal in New York?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you because, for example, this is common, okay? This is what was a student in Spain, and you know that when you are studying Spanish in Spain, the maximum that you can renew the student permit is 1 time. So you can only be two years as a Spanish student, okay? So this person went back and applied for the non-lucrative visa in New York, and they said that they deny it. We will post it, but they say that they deny it because he was a student, and because he was a student, they didn't believe the reasons of the non-lucrative visa. This was totally wrong because you can come with a non-lucrative to study if you want. It's not mandatory to study, but you can study. So we won the appeal, okay? But it was curious that in this time the visa was for 3 months only. I mean, to enter, the visa that they stamp in the passport to enter was for 3 months. I think it's because the application of this person for the personal lucrative was before May, and this was changed.
May
They were giving up.
2025, yeah? Because
Yes,
it changed,
they
the new regulation changed last May 2025.
exactly. So that's why you have to, in any case, check your visa. Okay, normally now they are giving it for 1 year to enter during that year. Before was for 3 months, but that doesn't mean that your permit starts right away. It starts when you enter to Spain, okay?
Exactly. That's a common question because also people get confused because once you enter Spain during the visa validity, you technically have 30 days to obtain your residency card, which is the plastic card called TIE, right? You go to the national police station, you put your fingerprints, you give your papers, your passport, and they will give you a plastic card, right? But normally there is a appointments bottleneck. There's not many appointments. It's hard to get them, so it will be very, very hard to do it during the first 30 days. So normally people do it in the second month, third month, 4 month is normal in Valencia, for example, 4 months, even 5 months to get the residency card. So they ask, oh, I'm going to get the residency card after 5 months of entering Spain. When is it going to be the starting date of my residency? Well, the police officer will look at the date in which you enter Spain and is gonna backdate it to 5 months before if it took you 5 months from the entry to Spain, right? So you're only gonna have let's say 7 months left before, let's say, the expiration of that card. Yes, if that makes it easy to understand. Okay, let's go with the next question. So this one I can already publish it. Okay, there you go. My husband and I are planning to apply for the non-lucrative visa from Houston, BLS. 2 questions. 1, Form X01, question 4. Tipo de autorización solicitada. None seem to apply. Can you help us determine which? Question 2, for the affidavit. I am 54 years old, thus of working age, yet I have been a full-time housewife for 20 years. Do I need to provide a letter of termination from the employer stating that he or she will no longer work?
Okay, can you, I don't know if you can do this in the system. Can you upload the EX01 so everyone see it or not?
Yes, I can just search the PDF, which I think. Let me see.
And why? Okay, perfect. Go down, no? Down. Okay. It says, titular de autorización de residencia previa, no. Extranjero retomando voluntariamente, no. Familiar, no. Menor, no. Menor, no. Menor, no. Menor, no. Titular de autorización, no. Según instrucción, consejo, no. Titular de estancia, no. Titular de autorización, no. Residencia independiente, no. Otros. You have to say otros, and you can put first application from consulate, for example. They are not very picky in this, huh?
Yeah. And the second question was, does she have to show a proof that she has quit her job as she was 20 years housewife? I don't know how to repost the question.
She doesn't have to say that she's quitting a job if she doesn't have a job, okay? She can do an affidavit saying that she's she has never been working, or when they are very picky, what you have to submit is a certificate from Social Security saying that you are not working. Normally, this is not needed, okay? But for you to know, you can get that from Social Security saying that you are not enrolled in Social Security as an employee, okay?
Next one. My consulate requires me to show my bank balance for last year, but I opened a new bank account and deposited the required amount of cash in January of this year. Is this okay, or should I show a bank balance for another account too?
So depending in what worries you. So of course, I will recommend you to show the other bank balance from the other account that you have. If you don't want to show it by whatever reasons, you need to give a reason why you didn't have an account, which is strange not to have an account. Okay, so if someone doesn't want to show their account, they really need to work ahead. So because they are asking to show the 1 year bank accounts or 1 year average balance, they ask, and that is based in 1 year of your bank account. So if you really don't want to show one bank account, you need to work ahead and open another bank account a year prior to the to your application.
Also, please, whenever you can, please mention the consulate where you're applying from, because it can help also answer the questions.
And let me say something. The fact that they ask for 1 year previous average balance doesn't mean that you need to have 30,000 euros for 1 year as an average balance. You need to have now the money. Imagine that you didn't have the money in that bank account, and now you have inherited, or you have sold an apartment, or I don't know, you put some money from stocks in this bank account. Is perfect, even if it wasn't a year ago. But they want to see 1 year in order to understand your situation, and you can explain whatever. I have here that money right now, and I didn't have it because of whatever reasons. So don't worry if you didn't have 30,000 euros during 1 year. That is not a requirement. The requirement is to show the bank account from the last year, okay? The movements.
Let's
Okay,
go with the
so
next question then. I am entering Spain under the NLV. After a year, I plan on renewing it for the next 2 years. During this 2 year period, if a job opportunity comes up, how difficult is it to change your visa from an NLV to a working one? Also, if after some time I decide to not working anymore, what happens to my visa?
okay, so it's not difficult. You need an employer, so a company that is active, is liquid, can show that can pay your salary. So you have two options. If you are getting a job as a highly qualified worker, which means that you need a degree or a master's degree, or you are doing a profession that normally needs that, even if you don't have it, and that you are earning around 40,000 euros if you are older than 30 years old, or around 30,000 euros if you are less than 30 years old, you can do the highly qualified worker visa at any moment, okay? Even if you've been only 1 week with the non-lucrative, you can do it. If it's a job offer for a normal job, okay, with a normal salary, the minimum salary in Spain, then you have to do it after a year of residency, okay? This is very important. And as I told you, what they will check is that the company pay their taxes and doesn't have debts in Social Security and in the tax office, and that it's earning some money. That is what they will check. If you quit working, you need to change again to the non-lucrative visa, especially if you were in a highly qualified worker visa, okay? They are tougher in the highly qualified worker visa when you are not working than in the with you if you are with a normal job. Because if you are with a normal job, even just with 3 months, it is good to renew, but as long as they fire you, not if you quit, okay? So be careful with that. So the safer option is check. We can check your situation and tell you if you need to switch to the non-lucrative, or you can stay as you are until you get another job.
We have another question from the XX01 form. When it asks for domicilio, should the addresses for datos de extranjero and a efecto notificaciones be the same?
Yes, can be. So, for example, sometimes if I have my clients, okay, for notifications, normally I put mine if the client prefers. So that is the difference. Notification is where they should send a letter, okay? So I normally put my address. When you don't have a lawyer or you are fine, you put your own address.
New York City Consulate is not taking appointments until after July 1st. This affects our plans to move to Spain in September. Any updates on potential earlier appointments?
No, you can keep checking, because if there are cancellations, okay, they open the cancellation. so you can keep checking. Something like that we have to study more in depth is if you really have to move quicker, maybe there are some other permits that you can do from Spain. But regarding what you are asking, keep checking if someone cancels.
After 5 years, 1 + 2 + 2 of NLV, if I do not meet the permanent residence standard, 4.2 years out of 5 years, so maximum 10 months out of Spain in the previous 5 years, but I meet the requirement of 183 days per year, can I still continue to renew it with an NLV another 2 years?
This is a very good question, and I have seen different answers from immigration. So I have seen that they give an extra renewal, like a third extra renewal, which is not in the regulation, but I've seen it, and I've seen sometimes that they haven't given an extra renewal. Of course, you should try it. Normally, they will give it to you. If not, of course, it can be appealed, or you can start from the beginning again. So sometimes people have gone back and apply for the non-lucrative again from the beginning. Also, another trick is applying for another permit. So imagine they don't give you another renewal of the non-lucrative, that normally they will give it to you. Huh? I don't want to scare you. But if not, you can switch at that moment for another kind of permit, like a work permit, and that will give you a continuity in the residency.
Another one from Form X01. When applying for our initial NLV authorization, which box should I check under tipo de autorización?
So it's initial. What that
You need
the
to check
initial? You see
this
that
one,
box? That yes.
just this one. But then you need to clarify, right? And here you
Which
don't
they are
have.
not very picky, but if you want to, like, if you are doing the first one from the consulate, is otros, okay? Because you don't
Okay.
have any other
And you need to
authorization. As you
specify, no?
see,
Visa no lucrativa.
exactly. As you see, this is because also people that have other authorization, imagine, as we were talking, a highly qualified worker visa, and you are not working anymore, you can switch from Spain if you've been 1 year to a non-lucrative, and that's why there are all these options.
Exactly. But here, really, if you look at this is solicitud de autorización de residencia temporal no lucrativa, right?
Yes,
This is
yes,
the
but what it says there is, for example, all those options that it says in number 4 is uh, what is your situation right now, you know? And for example, first box, titulado de autorización de residencia previa que cesa en la condición. For example, if you are a highly qualified worker and you quit your job, that you will tick
this
that
one.
box.
Exactly. But of course, not in this case. So let's go with the
No.
next one. How essential do you think it is to have a lawyer look over all your documents if you're collecting all of the documents on the checklist that Spainguru supplies and following all of Spainguru's message boards? Do you think we still need a lawyer? Should I
So,
answer
well,
that or?
asking this for me, like, I I I do my living because there is this need, okay? And there is this need because an application for, so the requirements are clear. It's true that they are clear. It's a list and you have to meet the list. But it's true that then the things are also very specific. And if you, for example, so something that it doesn't meet the requirements of the law, for example, maybe you show without wanting that you are working, because in the movement they see that you are getting a salary and you don't really do very well the thing, saying that you are going to quit or that your termination of the contract is wherever. So there are very small things that makes that your application could be denied. So that really depends on how you feel doing it and analyzing everything. Maybe Bruno, that you have a lot of people, viewers of your website that do it by your own can answer
Yes.
better this
Yes,
question.
my answer would be this. Like, some people say you absolutely don't need a lawyer, and you also have people who say you absolutely need one, right? So how do you answer that question? Then you have to ask yourself: is my case a straightforward case? Is it a simple like case? Like, you're a retiree with enough funds, you don't have any criminal records, you don't have any mortgage there, you're not working until the last moment, you don't have dependents, whatever, right? If it's a very clear, straightforward case, then you should lean towards do it yourself, and you're an organized person, you understand a little bit of Spanish, you have time for this, and so in that case you would be closer to that. But if you don't have a straightforward case because of any of the things that I mentioned before, and you are not very organized, you don't feel yourself, you don't feel that you are very confident on the time frames, because you need to sell your home, because you need to say goodbye to your friends, because you know you need to relocate your pets all at once, right? All that counts, right? So definitely get help in that case. Yes, you need to find yourself somewhere in that, um in closer to any of those answers because of your specific case. Let's go with the next one. I meet the minimum amount of funds through gifts from my parents, not from my own earnings. Should I provide a letter from my parents, sworn translated, saying that this is a gift and I don't have to give it back?
Yes, this is very important, okay? Um, ha- be clear that this is allowed, okay? Because in some consulates that are tougher, like for example Iran, all those, they try to deny it. And I have a lot of rulings from the Supreme Court saying that there is no problem to have it from family or friends or whoever. But yes, you have to have that money in your bank account, okay? So they have to wire transfer that money in the bank account, and they have to do that declaration at the notary.
I have a job in the USA and I cannot work remotely. My wife makes money online, but not enough to qualify for digital nomad visa. We have enough money in the bank to qualify for the NLV. We have more than double actually, but we want to work remotely in Spain, which is not possible on the NLV. I want to quit my job and look for remote work while in Spain, or take online freelance jobs, and my wife wants to continue what she's doing. Is there some way to do this? Any advice?
So different things for you to know. Nomads are acceptable also if you show less salary, if you can show that you have the money in savings. The problem is that because the nomad is given for 3 years directly, what I've seen is that they are asking for 3 times the money, the money in savings for the 3 years. We can try that if you have the money. I have also tried and I was successful, but you never know what they are going to answer. But to tell them, okay, but I have the money in savings for 2 years, give me only the permit for 2 years. It can be done like that. Or if not, okay, yes, you can quit, of course, and apply for the non-lucrative. And then if you find a job that qualifies, you could apply. Okay, but one thing that is very important, that there's been a change of criteria. They were accepting students and non-lucrative, switching to nomads. Okay, they were accepting this until 2 months ago. They have decided, or 1 month ago, between 1 or 2 months, nomad, non-lucrative as a student, we will not be able to switch from Spain to nomad. Okay, if this is your situation and you want to do it, you will have to go back and apply from outside, or ask to cancel the non-lucrative, and you can go back, come in, and apply as a tourist from Spain for the nomad.
I wanted also to circle back to the previous question, like whether you need a lawyer or not. very important as well that if you, for example, um, go to Stern Abogados landing page on Spainguru, of course, and here if you push that button, it will redirect you directly there. You don't have to hire a lawyer for the full process at once at the beginning. You can just consult maybe an hour, make sure that your papers are correct, make sure that your strategy is correct, that you go to the meeting with the right questions, okay? And you just consult 1 hour, and at least you have a great starting point. Then maybe along the way, you want to consult one more time, you see, just to make sure that you're not making any mistakes. Of course, the best to be on the safest side is to hire lawyers like I know a team for the full submission of the documents, right? But you can also, let's say, tailor it to your situation and be somewhere in the middle if that makes sense. Now let's go with the next question.
By the way, one of the most permits that I do is non-lucrative. So in my case, my clients really like the service. So what I do the most really are non-lucrative and nomads. Of course, I do everything, but that are the permits that I do the most.
Exactly. I know has experience in all the consulates in the US, in Canada, UK, Australia, you name it. So that's actually extremely important for this type of visa because each consulate is different. Let's go with the next one. The sworn affidavit requires a notary stamp. Must it also be sealed with an apostille?
Yes, yes. So every document you can find, of course, you can find a consulate and suddenly they are flexible with this, but normally they are not. Okay. So yes, you can do it or at the notary of the consulate, which will be considered a Spanish notary, so you don't have to do anything. But if you do it at any notary in the US or in whatever country you are, yes, you need the apostille and translation.
Can I sponsor my parents to come to Spain for residence after I got the NLV?
Yes, but sponsoring means that that you need to put the money, okay, in their account, and that is the most easiest way to do it. Okay, you put the money, the 40,000 euros. You know that for two they need 40,000 euros in their account, and you do an affidavit that you give the money to them, and they don't need to give it back to you.
I was born in Puerto Rico and I would like to get Spanish citizenship. There are many conflicting answers to the question of exactly how long I could be able to be outside of Spain in year one and year two. What is the actual and true number of days I can be out of Spain on years one and two to be safely able to apply for Spanish citizenship?
You need to be 9 months per year. This is three. You need to be in 9 months, so you can be out 3 months per year. Maybe there is a confusing answer because really the law doesn't say anything about it. Okay, they say residencia continuada. Okay, so this is a criteria set by the courts. And the courts have said that the normal average of someone being out, if they really live in Spain, are 3 months per year. Of course, there are rulings from the Supreme Court. Suddenly, someone has been 6 months out, 1 year, or 5 months out. But in a case, for example, of someone from the US, that has to be 10 years, okay? And 1 year has been 5 months out because was taking care of the mother that was in the hospital. I've seen that approval always in the court, never in the first application. But you need to see that it's an average, okay? If in 10 months, in 10 years of someone from the US, there is 1 year with very specific circumstances of the mother being in a hospital and you can prove that, maybe you have a chance, okay? But if in 2 years from Puerto Rico you are 6 months out, I don't think you have a chance, even if it's because a strong reason, okay? I would recommend you to be 1 more year, okay? So you can apply meeting the requirements.
let me say or add something. Probably you heard conflicting information because you didn't watch this video. This is a 21-minute video that I recorded 1 month ago with Ainhoa about Puerto Ricans. What did I do before recording that video? I went through all the communities online of Puerto Ricans asking to move to Spain. I checked everything and I summarized the 20 most asked questions from Puerto Ricans who want to move to Spain to obtain the Spanish passport. And then I asked those questions to Ainhoa, who answered them one by one. Really, this is one of the most watched videos, 2,000 views in the last 1 month. It really, really is a must watch for you if you're planning to move to Spain as a Puerto Rican and you're planning to obtain the citizenship. One of the questions that, of course, I asked was this, and it is recorded in the video. I'm going to share with you the link. And of course, if you watch it, give it a like, subscribe, and if you have more questions, please ask them in the comments of the video below. Now, let's go with the next question here. Once I am in Spain with my NLV, I would like to go back to the US to visit an elderly parent every few months. What is the maximum amount of days which I can travel outside of Spain without jeopardizing the renewal of my NLV?
So here I have two answers, okay? The safer answer, okay, the most where you will not find any problems are 6 months. 6 months in order to renew your permit is the maximum that you can be outside. But there is a ruling also from the Supreme Court saying that this rule of being out 6 months per year must be in a law, not in a bylaw. Right now it's in a bylaw. So even if you don't meet those 6 months, you have big chances to do the renewal. But if you don't want to have even to discuss this, be less than 6 months out.
And now that I'm sharing videos, one of the top videos, of course, that I recorded with Ainhoa is the top 20 questions for the non-lucrative visa. The most asked questions in 2025, Ainhoa answers them updated for 2026. And this video, almost 2,000 views as well. It's also a must watch for you guys. Now, let's go with the next one. Next question. Let me see. Display. Where's the next one? All right. Let's go with it. I am planning to use my US passport to start applying for the NLV now. After 2 years, I can switch to my Venezuelan passport. When I will apply for citizenship, I currently, my Venezuelan passport is not valid, or do I have to file the NLV with a Venezuelan passport?
No, that is a perfect scenario. So it's true that the first time they issued the new law for the Spanish passport, they said that you should have your residency with that passport that gave you the right. But this was corrected, okay, and they are not applying this because there was a problem that also a lot of consulates were only giving you the residency with the non-lucrative only from the country that they were. So imagine that you had a US passport and a Venezuelan passport. If you were applying in the US, they were not giving it to you with the Venezuelan passport, they were giving it to you with the US passport. So this was corrected, and right now there is no problem at all. You come in with your US passport, and if in 2 years you have your Venezuelan passport, it's perfectly fine to apply for the Spanish passport.
Yes, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but we have recorded so many videos, you and me, Ainhoa, that we have so many answers. And of course, I recommend everyone to join both channels, not only Spainguru, but also Sterna Abogados channel. This one 5 months ago, new ruling for dual passport holders seeking Spanish citizenship. It was a ruling that Ainhoa's team obtained from a dual citizen, right? Can you comment on this one? Because I think it's very relevant to the question. This is about someone who was born. Yes, this was about a ruling that you guys obtained at Sterna Abogados from a dual citizen who was born in another country that was not Ibero-American country.
Yeah, in the yes. So this was a Bolivian citizen that was born in the US. Okay, so there was a denial for the Spanish passport, for her Spanish passport, saying that because she was born in the US, she could not, even if she had a Bolivian passport, she could not get the Spanish passport after 2 years, which was completely wrong. And we get the ruling from the court granting her the Spanish nationality, the Spanish citizenship, saying that the important thing is not where you are born. You have to check the legislation of your country, of the passport, of the Latin American passport. So if your passport from Bolivia or from Venezuela, you get it because your parents are from that country, and your rules in your country says that you are from that country, Venezuela or Bolivia. Just because your parents are from there, doesn't matter where you live, then you qualify for the Spanish passport. So really, if you qualify or not will be based in your rules from your own country. And if in your rules from your own country, even if you are born in some other countries, say that being the son or the daughter from a person from that country, from Bolivia, Venezuela, Colombia, even that you get that nationality just because your parents are from there, then you are fine. Doesn't matter where you live. And normally the situation is like that, okay? The situation normally in the majority of the countries, Ibero-American countries, is that doesn't matter where you are born. If your parents are from a Latin American country, then you have that passport, what we call from origin, because your origin, your parents are from there.
Let's go with the next one. This is a question about the San Francisco consulate. We're a family of four, 2 kids. Do we need to have appointments for all four members, even the
Yes.
kids? When we got an appointment for April, we were not able to get appointments for everyone. If we get appointments in May for the other members of the family, can we still go to the April appointment for our first family member? And will they take all of us as a family?
So yes, you need an appointment for every family member. So yes, you go to the first appointment and of course try it. But I am 99% sure that they will not allow to give the other applications. Okay, they will tell you to wait for May or whenever you have the other appointments. But try it, okay? Because sometimes they can be changing criteria. But in my latest applications, and it's normal to have this doubt because there are no many appointments, but in the latest applications, they haven't allowed me to get all the family just with one appointment.
Yes, actually, a couple of months ago or 3 months ago, I published an article with the different consulates, family appointments, because some person in Mexico tried to do the family appointment. It wasn't possible to do it. In Miami, they could or they could not. You know, different consulates, they have different criteria for this or possibilities using BLS appointment system. So that's why also joining the community and reading about firsthand experiences of people who are applying like you, as a family, can give you very clear and fresh and updated information about how things are working at that specific BLS office or consulate.
Yes,
So,
and in any case, also update, always try to update the information because also, as you say, some consulates are different and also they keep changing. For example, I give you an example. There was a time that in Miami consulate, they allow me to not to leave the passport, so they could leave a copy of the passport, a compulsory copy, so a copy at the notary, and then they didn't allow me to do it. So even if you read it in the community, which I think is very useful, always try to update the information because they keep changing.
exactly. If you search, for example, Spainguru family appointments and you write your consulate, you will see I have different first-hand experiences from Spainguru community members who post about this. And if you actually go on Spainguru and you go to visa guides, non-lucrative visa, consulates, US consulates, you have all the consulates here, right? all the consulates in the US, and each one of them I try to update with firsthand experiences, updated firsthand experiences from Spainguru community members, right? So here, if you scroll down, we have here February 2026, December 2025, November 2025. So as you can see, members who share their firsthand experiences can be useful to you to have that updated information firsthand from people who are on the ground. Now let's go with the next one. My NLV was approved through my pensions. My pensions are for life. Would I have a problem in renewing my NLV for 2 years, even if my only source of income are my pensions and I have nothing in the bank?
No, no, you shouldn't have any problem. Okay, they understand that this comes every month, and that is guaranteed that the government will continue always paying you, so they accept it. No problem at all.
Yes. We have an address of a relative in Andalusia we can use to process the NLV application. We plan to live in Madrid, but I don't have an address there yet. Would it be a problem to use our relative's address on the NLV application, but flying to Madrid to get our lodging and empadronamiento there?
So what you need to understand, the permit is national, okay? So doesn't matter where you do the empadronamiento, okay? That then you can change and move. The thing is, you need to do fingerprints where you do the empadronamiento. There shouldn't put you a problem if you say that you are going to Andalusia, okay? In the application, and then you go to Madrid, you do the empadronamiento in Madrid, and you do the fingerprints. But in your case, what I would do, so you don't have any problems, is go, if you say Andalusia, go to Andalusia, do the empadronamiento in Andalusia, get your TIE, and then move to Madrid. Because until you move, you find an apartment, you do the empadronamiento, maybe it takes longer. So because the permit is national, I think if there is no problem to do the empadronamiento in your family's apartment, that is what I would recommend. I will do the empadronamiento in Andalusia, do the fingerprints in Andalusia, and then or while you are doing this, you can be looking for the apartment in Madrid and move to Madrid whenever you want, because you will have the NIE. Because also it will make you much more easier to do all the procedures to rent an apartment in Madrid, having your TIE, okay? Because they normally want to see the plastic, which is the TIE. They normally want you to have a bank account. So it will make easier if you already have the TIE.
I have a quick question here. If you have friends where you can stay in Spain and you want to use their address in the application, Ainhoa, what kind of documentation do you need to submit to prove this, apart from filling the forms with that address?
So sometimes what I do is a letter, and I say sometimes because sometimes the consulate don't want anything, okay? That they are not so picky. But if you want to do a very good and complete application, the good thing is that your friend gets the empadronamiento of him, okay? Shows the rent agreement or the ownership documents, and write a letter that he will welcome you until you find your own address. That will be great.
Once we get the NLV and move to Spain, can we use a short-term 3 months rental or hotel address to complete the TIE Padrón without issues?
No, that is the problem. That usually we also commented that in one video. There are 2 or 3 commissaries, so police stations, that it seems that they are accepting that. You pull out that information from people that were sharing that in your community, Bruno, but in the 95% of the places or 98% of the places, you need the empadronamiento, okay? So, and you cannot do the empadronamiento in a hotel or a short-term Airbnb. I know that you commented in a police station in Malaga. I remember that. I don't know if you said somewhere else
In
that they were
Valencia,
accepting the hotel reservation.
this can change anytime, and
Yes.
of course it can even change by the person who is reviewing your papers when you're doing the submission of the for the TIE. Okay, but some people reported that in Malaga with a rental contract it was fine. Uh, you didn't need the empadronamiento. How long the rental contract had to be wasn't clear, right? That's for Malaga, but at least you didn't need an empadronamiento in the central police station of Malaga, Plaza Manuel Azaña, the big one. If you go to a smaller one, maybe they ask you for an empadronamiento, and if they ask you for an empadronamiento, the requirement here in Malaga is at least 6 month rental contract, and it will take you 2 to 3 months to obtain the empadronamiento. That's why the main police station, knowing this, the delay in obtaining empadronamiento, don't ask for it. Also, other people applying at Valencia City, the main police station in Valencia City, they say that a booking reservation or booking.com or Airbnb receipt worked. I don't know now as of the beginning of 2026. As we said, all this is evolving all the time. And that's why also reading and being part of the community, reading the first-hand experiences is very valuable.
Yes, also for me, I get a lot of information. So I always, in consultations, when they do consultation for me, and when we are talking about all the people that are sharing, it is also very good information to me. When someone comes and tell me a problem, I see what is the problem in that city. So I can tell to everyone that there is a problem and what is the possible solution. A problem or the other way around, or that things are easier in that police station, for example.
I think this one we already answered it before. After 2 years under the NLV, first, second NLV, I plan to apply for Spanish citizenship as a Latin American. What is the minimum amount of months that I should be in Spain for those 2 years, total non-consecutive months? I truly want to be a Spaniard and settle in Spain. So you cannot be away from Spain, outside of Spain, for more than 90 days each of the 2 previous years before applying for Spanish citizenship. Is that correct, Ainhoa?
Yes, correct.
And as Ainhoa said, this is not written in any law. This is a ruling that establishes this number. That's why it's not easy to find, and you can find conflicting information. So, and it is also, it is not a black and white, like 91 days, then you lose it, 89 days. So be on the safe side. And yes, don't be outside of Spain more than 3 months per each year. So 1 year, 3 months, the second year, 3 months maximum outside of Spain. Is the FBI background check window 3 months or 6 months for the NLV? For the San Francisco consulate, how long do we have? It is a very tight window to get it back in time because it is hard to get an appointment as well.
It's a good question. It's 3 months, okay? They don't say something different because, for example, during COVID, they were accepting for longer than 3 months, So 6 months are for nomads. Remember this because this is different, okay? For the non-lucrative, it's 3 months. If that consulate is giving you, or for example, during COVID, they were accepting also state criminal records, which is not something that now is accepted, okay? So normally, always 3 months. If you see that your consulate accepts for 6 months, then it's perfect, okay? But if not, the rule is 3 months. And it's true that they take time, not for the FBI, but for the apostille, it takes time. So you know that there are expedite procedures. There are companies that have like a special authorization to do it quicker. I normally recommend to use them. Normally they are not very expensive. They are like 100 euros, something like that. And really, they do it quicker. They do it like in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Bruno, you want to show something, right? In your
I was just checking
instruction?
the BLS office in San Francisco to see whether they had added the minimum, like the validity period of the FBI background check, but they didn't. Okay.
Okay.
Also, because this can change anytime, they are updating the websites sometimes, and people report that they read all the requirements, they prepare all the documents, etc., and then just by chance they go again to the requirements page on BLS in English or to the consulate, and boom, they added something, right? So that's why you need to also go and check every now and then.
Yeah, and
Now,
suddenly happens that I ask for something extra that I know is not in the website, but because I have so many clients, and my client sometimes complains saying, "Oh, but that is not in the website. I don't want to do that." And I know when I ask for more, I know it's always not comfortable to get extra documents. But it is the thing is that not all the documents every time are in the website. Okay, sometimes they are asking for extra documents, and that's why we do these webinars, and also we talk about the specific cases because they keep changing.
can we use proof of income for our NLV application, an investment account that we can access after our resignation? Our resignation date is a few days before our consulate appointment, so it is not currently accessible, but will be once our resignation is completed. We have a letter explaining this. It is in the Miami BLS.
I think sounds great. Okay, so just make sure that okay, this is a letter explaining this, but a letter and something that says like the conditions. So not only the letter, but also show the conditions of that investment account. Okay, there are always from the bank they give you conditions saying this. Attach that also. Okay,
So the
translate
by
it and
conditions you
attach it.
mean how accessible the money is,
Yes,
or
well, in the
how
condition
liquid
it
that
would
money is.
say, I don't know, this, but these funds will be accessible the day that you get retired. There are called general conditions or particular conditions, okay, of the investment. Always, every investment have their own conditions. So, in addition to the letter that you are explaining, that is perfect, attach those conditions, the official conditions that they given you, and if they haven't given to you, they can give it to you to show that what you are saying is the reality, because the conditions of the investment is like a contract that you have with the bank for that investment, with the bank or whatever institution you have the investment in.
If you have background check validity, has it changed from 6 to 3 months recently? I asked ChatGPT and gave me just 3 months validity for NLV.
It's true. It's what we said. It's 3 months. If some consulates are accepting for 6 months, great, but double check, okay? Because the 6 months accepted for immigration are only for highly qualified and nomads, all those from UGE.
Another Venezuela question. I am arriving in Spain with an NLV from the US with my US passport. Do I have a valid Venezuelan? If sorry, I do have a valid Venezuelan passport. Can I apply for a Spanish passport with my Venezuelan passport and without giving up my US citizenship?
So the thing is, yeah, you can do the application with your Venezuelan passport, of course. The thing about giving up your US passport, the thing is when you apply for the Spanish passport, you have to answer some questions. And you have to answer if you have any other passport. And there you have to say yes. And when you say yes, when you get the Spanish passport, they will tell you that you have to give up your US passport. They are working in the Congress, they are working to eliminate this requirement. But this we never know if this will end up being approved and they will eliminate this requirement. You know what we always say is a little bit confusing because you give up your US passport, you do a you do a declaration to Spain that you give up your US passport, but the US doesn't recognize this declaration. So it's a little there is a little bit of conflict with the situation, and that's why I think Spain is thinking about eliminating this requirement.
All right, we are almost finishing. We have a few questions more. Just to remind you guys, if you want to contact Ainhoa Manero, you can just click the button on the top bar there. It will redirect you to my landing page for Stern Abogados. You can write directly to them. You can ask for a consultation in the. Sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen. You know, if you push that button there, contact, it will bring you, it will direct you here. You can write to the email here and or directly book an appointment with Ainhoa or someone from her team. okay, to discuss with them directly your options or any questions you have regarding this visa or any other immigration procedure. Okay. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ask any questions in the comments below. Now, let's go with the final questions before we finish. My partner is a U.S. citizen and I'm Colombian. Do we have filed together so he will be able to apply for citizenship after 5 years, after me applying after 2 years, or we can file individually? We're not married.
Okay, so here there are some mixed concepts. Let me explain you. So you do two applications, okay? That doesn't matter how, like main one and family member. Each of you get a residency, even if it's as a family member, okay? You, the Colombian one, I mean, will get the passport in 2 years. The partner will get can have different options. Get the long-term residency after 5 years or apply for passport after 1 year of you getting the Spanish passport. Okay, so when you are married to a Spaniard, okay, you can apply for the Spanish passport after a year. So if you get the Spanish passport after a year, your partner will be able to get the Spanish passport, but it's not mandatory. Also can apply after 5 years for the long-term residency.
And here, last one
But
probably.
she's saying
Yep,
or he's saying is not married. If it's not
they're not
married,
married.
this if you're not married, then you don't have the option of getting the passport after 1 year of your partner gets the Spanish passport. You can decide to get married if this is very interesting for you, and if not, after 5 years, the long-term residency, even if you come as a family member, no problem.
And if you get married, register that marriage in Spain. That takes
Yes,
time and
the
it's
best thing is
necessary.
if you are coming to Spain, get married in Spain because then you don't have to register it because registering a marriage that is celebrated outside, it takes like 9 months.
Now here we have typically was what is the shortest term of a rental necessary to obtain an empadronamiento? I can answer this one, I know, if you wish.
Yeah, you
It's
said
about
it
six
should be
months.
3 months, huh? But normally they are asking for six, right, Bruno?
Yeah, just look, and it depends. It is something that varies slightly from ayuntamiento to ayuntamiento. So you need to search for empadronamiento and the city where you're moving, right? And check the official requirements. Um, there's going to be different websites, different information, but here where you see the procedure for the alta, the padrón municipal, documentación, and here it will tell you what you need to submit, and usually it will explain what type of rental contract you have to submit. Okay, so for example, if I search the word meses, yes, su duración mínima en Madrid is 6 months. Okay, when you're applying with a rental contract. So depending where you're moving, go and check that website from that specific city hall or ayuntamiento just to make sure that you are correct. Okay, so I think we made it till the end of this Q&A session. I really appreciate everyone joining today. Remember, you can contact Aino and her team clicking this button there on the top, or just search for Sterna Abogados, Sterna on Google, and you can, either get an appointment with them, you can send them an email, or you can go to spainguru.es and very quickly find them. They are my top partners. I've been recommending Ainoa for many years. Just very easy. You just go here. Here's the email. Here's the um, widget for booking appointments. And of course, you can ask any question if you're watching this on YouTube. Give it a like, subscribe, and ask your questions in the comments below. I will send the questions to Ainoa. She's very, very busy, but sometimes she answers me. And yes, I think we're
Sorry.
finishing. I'm going to send you the recording of this video very soon to your emails, the same email that you used to register for this Q&A session. I hope to see you in the next webinars. As you know, I have more than 7 webinars, 2 of them with Ainoa for the NLV or just generally about moving to Spain. Actually, the next one is moving to Spain Q&A session with Ainoa. Here it is, and it is on March 24th. So in just 2 weeks from now, save the free spot. And always I send you the recording. This is a free webinar, just like this one, but about anything moving to Spain, including the non-lucrative visa. So you're more than welcome to join, and that would be it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Ainhoa, again.
Thank you.
I'll see you around. Take care and have a wonderful week.
You
Goodbye.
too, Bruno. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.